Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. So, I just want to ask this morning who else feels like the start of the week is the perfect time to reset and talk about your health? Um, today we're going to talk about something that could completely change the way you look at your health and your energy, and that's insulin resistance. And it might sound complicated, but I promise we're going to make it simple. I want to make this simple, and I want you guys all to understand why this is such a big thing today. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Misha. I've spent the last few years learning about insulin resistance, how it impacts our daily lives. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I'm passionate about making this information accessible and helping people like you feel better, just like I was able to do after I tried all the things that everybody suggested and was getting nowhere with my health or even feeling better, feeling like I could survive past 60, which I'm 60 now. So, why we need to talk about insulin resistance is it's impacting almost all of us. A 2022 study showed that 93% of us have some type of metabolic disorder, and yet recently doctors are saying that 99% of us, especially here in the US, were said to be insulin resistant as early as 2022 or as late as 2022. And that's huge when we understand that insulin resistance is linked to almost all of our health disorders that we are suffering with today. So, if you find yourself on that list, let me know because this is important. It might be the key to changing the way you feel and how you can get there much quicker and much easier than you ever thought. And I think that's really important for most of us. So, I know that if you're like me, you may be struggling with things like constant fatigue, cravings that never seem to go away, and stubborn weight gain that just won't budge. That was me. Does it sound familiar to anybody here? Put a one in the chat if those things, constant cravings, fatigue, weight that won't go away, you're starting to put on weight and you just don't know why or where it's coming from or how to get rid of it. Nothing you do is helping. If that's you, put a one in the chat. Let me know if I'm talking to you. But beyond that, I was also suffering with hypertension, um, inflammation, and a number of other things. Almost everything on this list. So, you guys hang out. We're going to talk about insulin resistance right now. But thanks for joining me this morning, you guys, and especially those of you who don't know me, who've never seen me before. We're going to dive in. And my information comes from my own experience as well as doctors that I've studied and who are top scientists in the metabolic field. So I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to diagnose anyone. I'm just here to help you understand what could be going on and a much easier path to getting there. So, if we can agree on understanding that, let's dive in because insulin resistance is devastating for most of us. So, insulin resistance happens when your body's cells stop responding to insulin. So, insulin is a hormone that gets energy into the cells. It's the hormone that carries the energy of blood sugar and gets it to the cells, opens the cell door, and lets that energy in. So we need to understand that insulin is a hormone. It's created in your pancreas. That will all come clear in just a little bit, but we just need to understand that first. So insulin's job is to get that sugar from your blood and into your cells. But if your cells won't respond to insulin because there's just way too much of it in your system, your body starts to feel that fatigue and that tired, and you just feel like you're struggling no matter what you do, and yet you're being told to eat every 2 hours, and you're grabbing quick snacks to try and get your energy up, and that's actually making the problem worse. Did anybody know that this whole ideology of eat every 2 hours actually leads to insulin resistance in the end because we don't need to eat that often, and what we're doing is overwhelming the body with something that it doesn't need to have. And so it just breaks my heart when I see creators on here talking about you need to eat every 2 hours to lose weight. That'll work in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to cause a lot of damage because you're just elevating insulin every time you eat and increase glucose in your system. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of problems when the body starts to shut down. So you've elevated your insulin, your body no longer wants to respond to it because it's just like you're too much, not dealing with you. Now, some of your cells aren't getting enough energy, some of them are getting too much energy, and you start ending up with all of these things. and there's pieces of too much energy and too little energy. We'll talk about that if anybody wants to know. So, does anybody feel like they're suffering with weight gain, fatigue? Because look at all of these. You can hardly see my picture up there. I'll show it later. We'll do another video. But I was at almost 270 pounds. I've lost over 55 pounds. This young lady here, look at her belly, went from this to this. That's insulin resistance. All she did was the same protocol I do. She still enjoys the food that she loves. She still enjoys her lifestyle. She still enjoys going out, all of that, and she's changed her life. And then there's my friend Cindy here, who has done the same. She's lost, I think, like 160 pounds now, doing just this protocol and understanding insulin resistance. So if you guys feel like that's you, we're going to talk about all of it and why this is happening to you right now. So it's not only about weight, and I don't like to talk about weight very much, but everybody else does, right? Because I don't think that's everything with insulin resistance. We need to understand hypertension. We need to understand all of these diseases and disorders that are lifestyle related, chronic illnesses. 95% of them are linked to insulin resistance. And for me, that's the core of the issue. So I don't know, does anybody else suffer with hypertension, kidney disorders, PCOS or hormonal disorders, thyroid? Anybody hearing any of this? Bone loss? My asthma's gotten better. My allergies have gotten better. It's crazy how much of our body is shut down when we are not getting energy into the cells. The sugar does not belong in our bloodstream. It needs to be in our cells, or the glucose, and we just are not able to get it there because of this thing called insulin resistance. So what I'm going to talk about today is the protocol that helped all three of us and so many more actually overcome this and start to feel better. And if you're impatient like I am, just go to my profile link. The information is all there. I have a website. I have more success stories, all of that. Go check it out. But it's just really two real food products that I used to help reverse my insulin resistance. And I'm going to dive into why they helped and how it can help you too, because I think that's super, super important. Um, it's these two key products, a tea that I have twice a day. And I'm going to talk about, for those of you who were on the system when it was one tea a day and two of the pre-meal drink, I'm going to talk about why that changed and what's really happening. We're going to talk about this tea. By the way, have any of you guys seen all of, and maybe it's just my feed and my algorithm, but I see all of these gals on here talking about GLP-1. So I either get the people who are pushing the GLP-1 meds, which I am not an advocate for. There's been enough science that shows how much damage those can do to the body that I just can't advocate those. Or you'll see these other people talking about this tea called yerba mate and how great it can be for you. And it can be. Even Dr. Huberman, a great neuroscientist, has talked about yerba mate and its benefits. We're going to dive into why. And I'm going to dive into why this tea is so much better than the others. There's not another yerba mate on the planet right now that gives you the efficacy of this tea because it's hyper pure, meaning after we've done all these other processes, we've handpicked it, we've done the extraction and concentration, we now purify it as well to make sure that you're not getting all those toxins, all those PAHs, all the pesticides and stuff in the tea. The other teas cannot tell you that or guarantee that. And this is a process we're really proud of. Plus, the process we go through makes this tea about 375 times more potent than the standard yerba mate tea, and nobody else can claim that. That's why this has so much good benefits to it. Now, back to the GLP-1, one of the things with the tea is that it increases that GLP-1 glucagon-like peptide 1 in you naturally up to 70%. So we're drinking 2 of these a day because it's helping with that GLP-1. Now, GLP-1 helps you with satiety. So it works on your gut to make you feel a little bit full there. It works on your brain to help you feel full there. It's giving you a ton of energy, vitamins, minerals. That's why it's important to weight loss and to all your other health issues. So Unamate really works amazingly for these issues. So, are you suffering with weight loss that you can't get rid of? Because that was me. I remember going to doctors and they would tell me, you've got to lose weight. And I'm like, but how? I've tried everything. I did keto, I did the medical medium, I did all the stuff the doctor said. I was on 13 different medications. I could lose maybe 5 pounds, which was water weight or inflammation, but I couldn't lose anything else. No matter how clean and what I ate, I just couldn't get the weight off. Does anybody else feel like that's them? Or that you just go into the doctor and they say, oh, you'd feel better if you just lost some weight. And then you feel gaslit and deflated and like you're just done. You're just done. Or whatever, you give up. That was me. I actually broke down in tears in one doctor's office because it was a little tiny blonde doctor who actually rolled her eyes at me about my weight and acted like I just laid on the couch and ate donuts all day, which was not me. I was a 4-time world champion power lifter working out 6 days a week, 3 hours a day, and I still couldn't get my weight down. Understanding insulin resistance got rid of all of that craziness and allowed me to have a simple life. And I'm actually now 4 years in, and I'm surprised that my weight stays stable no matter how I eat, although I tend to eat healthier because I understand these principles and have been using this system. So, Unamate, one of the things that we need to understand with yerba mate tea, especially this Unamate that I talk about, are some components in it that are really, really important to your health. So it's high in chlorogenic acids. That's 375 times higher in this tea than any standard yerba mate tea. And that means those chlorogenic acids are potent antioxidants and they do more to fight free radicals than just about anything else. The chlorogenic acids so, support metabolic health by slowing the absorption of glucose and helping keep blood sugar levels steady throughout the day. Now, I talk a lot about fiber, and we're going to get to that in a minute, and keeping your blood sugar levels steady. But just by drinking the tea, you can help keep your blood sugar levels steady, and it helps slow down the absorption of sugar. So the combination of the fiber I'm going to talk about and this tea actually does that. Now, somebody just asked about GERD. So at first, I'm going to tell you, at first, you're going to start, I don't know what just happened. I changed something. Well, you're going to see me, you're going to see me dark for a while. Does this work for GERD? Okay. I just want to make sure there's no other questions that I missed. So GERD is gastrointestinal reflux disease. There we are. We're back. And it's helped mine. Okay. So I used to have really bad acid reflux and stomach pain. That tends to be a microbiome change in your gut. And that microbiome change is oftentimes fed by two things, not just sugar. I'm not gonna say this is all just sugar. Sugar is one, and those healthy oils that everybody's telling you about, the seed oils, they can actually be causing your GERD too. So at first, this was really difficult for me because my stomach was so sensitive. Now, because of this, my blood pressure is down, but my GERD is also under control. So what I would say is when you're starting with it, until you get your gut microbiome healthier, this can cause a little bit of kind of reflux issues. So what I did was I added a little bit of salt, seems to help, and just diluted it more and slow it down in the drinking. So you'll see me walking around. I have a mug every single day, no matter where I go. I have a mug. I have another one made up because I'm going to head out and pick up a piece of furniture I'm flipping. So this is in 40 ounces of water, and that's how I drink it, and I just sip on it. How much does this tea cost? The whole system, because it's a system that's going to help you, is about $5 a day. Okay, so that's less than I was spending on a bag of chips and a soda. And in today's cost, I was surprised. I went by a store the other day and I was looking at the candy bars I used to eat. They're like $2.70 for a candy bar that's causing the problems. This is $5 a day. So and that $5 a day includes the pre-meal drink I'm going to talk about and both of the teas. So when I look at that, you guys, when we're going to talk about cost real quick, and then I'm going to get back into the tea, it's so much simpler for me. Not only am I not spending $15 to $20 a day, which if you actually look, most of us are spending that much on junk food that we're trying to like survive the day with. And then I was able to get off of, for me, I was able to get off of 13 medications. I have not one prescribed medication in my cabinet now. Just going from somebody who is severely ill and on 13 medications, I don't pay for any of those medications. This $5 a day that's building my health is so much better than any of those medications ever could have done for me that were actually causing problems. And statins and proton pump inhibitors, I've found that I'm listening to more and more doctors that talk about how much damage they're causing towards insulin resistance. You don't drink or chips or soda. What's the cost of the system? So if you'll go to my profile, it's about $159 a month or $5 a day. And Fantasy Forex, you can tell me what I'm lying about because I would love to have that conversation. You guys, those of you who don't know me, I want you to understand this. If I didn't 100% believe in this, if I didn't know that this was really what changed my life, I personally couldn't be on here talking about it. Just like I can't be on here talking about GLP-1 drugs because I don't believe in them. This changed my life when nothing else seemed to help. I worked in the medical field. I worked with hormone doctors. I worked with allergy doctors. I worked in urgent cares. And none of the doctors that I worked with could seem to get my health under control. One of my doctors, I actually was in a Golden Girls situation. We were kind of like best friends and we shared a home. And so we had a lot of conversation. And she was really worried about me because at that time, my blood pressure was 180 over 150 every day. She saw it up close and personal, and she was terrified that I was going to pass away in a few years if I didn't get it under control. She was doing all kinds of research to try and help me, but never once did she talk to me about insulin resistance because most doctors are not taught about how our food is killing us. Okay. That's the truth. And that's why I'm here talking about it. So, oh, I think that person is gone. And it doesn't matter, you guys ask me questions, just be respectful. I'm not here purporting to be some doctor or specialist. I'm telling you my history and what I found in the 3 years of study that I've done listening to doctors who talk about all this, that's what I share. But the Unimate, let's get back to the Unimate. And Maxwell, thanks for asking. And please use the link in my profile to get there. If you have questions, again, there's a whole website. There's a direct link to order. There's more information there. There's a way to get a hold of me. I have a free ebook. If you guys want to know the 6 simple steps to getting over your insulin resistance with or without the protocol, that's in there. You can get that from me for free. Just start taking care of your health. Okay. So, all right. So let's get back to this tea. The tea, not only is it high in chlorogenic acids, this is apple spice, by the way, that's what's in my cup today. And this is lemon ginger, and we also have it in lemon. They're all sweetened with stevia. Okay, so, and they're highly concentrated. We talked about chlorogenic acids just a second ago, potent antioxidants that do more to fight free radicals, those free radicals that are damaging your cells and causing you to be ill. But they help your metabolic health, again, by slowing down the absorption of sugar. And that means that from the gut into the bloodstream is where this is slowing down the absorption of sugar. We want the glucose or sugar to be absorbed from the bloodstream into the cells, but when the bloodstream is so full of glucose or sugar, insulin just cannot get it into the cells as it should. So what's happening with the tea is not only is it helping you feel full, it's helping you slow down that absorption of glucose from the gut into the bloodstream. So now we're slowing down those blood sugar spikes. We're slowing down that insulin spike that comes along with blood sugar, and then we're starting to get control of our metabolism. Before I go on, metabolism, we should be able to burn fat, sugar, we should be able to burn fat. Right now, most of us are setting up our metabolism to only know how to burn sugar. And that's a problem because we really need to be able to switch. We're eating too much too often, and that's the biggest issue. You can eat the foods you love. You just don't need to be putting food in your mouth every 2 hours of the day. Okay. Now, so there's also in this something called mate saponins. And these compounds have more anti-inflammatory effects and cholesterol lowering properties. So these saponins help support healthy cholesterol levels and reduce inflammation both of which are important for heart health. Now, this is how I was able to take something that has a small amount of caffeine, about the same amount as a cup of coffee, and still reverse my hypertension. My blood pressure or high blood pressure, remember, was 180 over 150 every single day. And now every morning when I wake up, it's about 110 over 74. Amazing blood pressure for a woman that's 60 years old. I couldn't have got there on medications. I wasn't getting there on medications. So please understand that this is really heart healthy. It's part of what helped heal my hypertension. So, and it's because of those mate saponins that are inherent in yerba mate. So then it also has, and this one's new to me, you guys, when I started doing more research on it, it has something called maltase inhibitors. I never understood this about Unimate before, but those maltase inhibitors are what's helping slow down the breakdown of sugars that get into your bloodstream. Those maltase inhibitors in this are what's taking your body and digesting those carbs more slowly, reducing those sugar spikes, and keeping you full and energized longer. But it also has something called theobromine in it. The theobromine, hey, Grammy boy, I see you, and thank you everybody for dropping in. Those maltase inhibitors, oh, that's, we just talked about that. The theobromine, I get lost. The theobromine is a feel-good compound. So I have ADHD, I have autism, I had insulin resistance. I tend to struggle with mood disorders. It's much, much better now, but the theobromine, with especially with my ADHD, helps me feel good. So I'm not searching for dopamine hits all the time. And if you're depressed, and you're having problems, that can be highly linked to insulin resistance as well, especially with gut health issues. The theobromine in the tea actually helps you feel better. There was a study. I hate seeing actually all the time. We did a study on this, and people who were not drinking yerba mate or unimate, we gave them unimate just one a day for 30 days. Their wellness score, their happiness, how they felt about life increased by 70% in just 30 days with one of these a day. So if you're suffering with anxiety and depression, this could help because of those theobromines in the tea that are naturally occurring. This isn't added, it's just naturally occurring. So um, I already talked a little bit about how it's heart healthy. Now, studies suggest it can improve lipid profiles by reducing your LDL cholesterol and supporting HDL cholesterol. What I want to say is I did an cholesterol panel just a little bit ago. Hey, Jason, it's good to see you. My triglycerides are all in order. My LDL is very low now, and my HDL is really high, which is good. So my cholesterol panel is in order. I still eat a ton of fats. I have coconut oil, I have olive oil, I cook almost everything in butter. You guys, I don't skip on the fats. Even when I make a protein shake, when I rarely make them, I add fats in, like cream cheese or avocado or whole whipping cream, and yet my LDL is low. You guys have been lied to about how that happens and what's really happening to you. You want to get control of your cholesterol. The system helps with that through these components, and that can help your heart because we don't want cholesterol building up in our arteries. That's a problem, right? So it's also nutrient dense. Yerba mate is naturally rich in vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients that support overall health and well-being. So when you're drinking yerba mate, you're giving your body the tools it needs to handle the day with steady energy, balanced blood sugar, and even heart health support. So how many of you guys would love that change in your life, to have energy, to have satiety, meaning you're not hungry all day, to slow down the blood sugar spikes when you do eat, to have mental clarity, to have building heart health while still having plenty of energy to get through the day. How many of you guys would love that? Because that was a game changer for me. And I know Jason was just on, I'm not sure if you're still here, but it was a game changer for him too. And he's done amazing on the system. If he's still here, I'll let him tell his story. But some people might ask, why are we doing 2 of them a day? Why do we drink 2 a day? Um, it's all about supporting your body's natural ability to regulate blood sugar and appetite. When we're increasing that GLP-1, glucagon-like peptide 1, in your system naturally, it changes your life. So that hormone plays a crucial role. GLP-1, let's talk about that for a second. And hold on, Jason, it transformed my whole life. Will you type in your story, Jason, a little bit for people so they can see why this is so important? I'd love to share that with everybody and let it come from your mouth, not mine. So boosts GLP-1. We'll go back to that. GLP-1 is a hormone that plays a crucial role in controlling your hunger, improving insulin sensitivity, and promoting a sense of fullness, right? So it's not only the chlorogenic acids and the theobromine and all that, the GLP-1 increase is helping you with all of these efforts. So it has enhanced fat burning and energy level by drinking this tea. So when you're drinking it in the morning and again later in the day, it's helping keep your metabolism steady, the satiety there, so you're not wanting to break through and have snacks all the time, and your energy is there and your mental clarity is up, and now you're having more productive, healthful days every day. So it's the 2 servings really are just ensuring that you have this support all day long. So I'll have this one. I'm about to, like I said, I'm about to go pick up a piece of furniture, which I lift and load all by myself. Everybody's always amazed how I can do that. 4 years ago, I couldn't because I was so broken down from insulin resistance, but now I can. Um, by the way, it's an amazing piece of mid-century modern furniture. I'm so excited to get my hands on. But I'm going to do that when I go because this one's almost empty. I will be taking another one with me and I'll be sipping on that throughout the afternoon. It will keep me mentally clear. It will keep my energy high. It will keep me feeling full. I haven't eaten yet today. I probably won't eat till I get back. And then later this afternoon, I'm going to head up to Kings Island, amusement park here in Ohio. I'm in Kentucky, but in Ohio, and take my grandson around and ride all the rides and walk all the walk and do over 10,000 steps in the cold, something I couldn't have even imagined doing 4 years ago because I was so devastated by health issues. And this system is all I changed. Now I can go out and do all the fun things with my family and do all the things I love to do. So I'm going to go back to Jason's story. Um, so he had uncontrollable diabetes and blood pressure, IBS, sleep apnea, 13 pills a day, and nothing was working for him. He was so desperate, he went to a surgeon for gastric band surgery. He couldn't lose weight for anything. And I remember this story, but I'm going to let you finish it, Jason. I'm going to tell just a minute. His surgeon really wanted that surgery. I caught Jason right about the time he was getting ready to go in for the surgery and convinced him to try this instead. I've seen so many people come out of those surgeries anemic and having iron absorption problems and all kinds of other problems. And I begged him not to do it, to just give this a try. And lo and behold, he did. Now, 2.5 years later, he was at 463 pounds. He's now down over 160 pounds. His A1C was at 13.3, and his A1C is now down to 4.9. You guys, A1C is the marker for what they talk about for diabetes. He went from 13.3 down to 4.9. Did it take him some time? Yes. But Jason, was it worth it? Last time he weighed himself, he was at 261. So I'm going to correct that. He's now down 200 pounds. No medications, no damaging drugs, none of that. He drank this tea and the pre-meal drink that I'm going to talk about next. And that's all he had to do to get his health back. And it really worked. Jason was like me. Nothing that he did helped him lose weight. So I was able to lose 50 pounds when I swore that I wasn't going to be able to lose any weight. Jason's lost 200 pounds. Jason, tell him how you eat. Is it difficult? Do you struggle? Can you have the things you love once in a while? They want to know. I want you to tell them. All right. So the tea is simple, super simple to drink, and so is the fiber. You're just going to mix it in water. I have a little jug. I just put it in and shake it up, put it in my mug, and fill the rest of it up with water. That's it. Now, if I'm out and about, which I keep these with me no matter where I go, and I get hungry, I feel my energy dip, any of that, I just grab a bottle of water, pour this in, and drink it. That's the whole thing. Jason, thank you. He says, this woman is the main reason I'm alive right now. You know what? And the guy who showed me the system is the main reason I'm alive right now too, because I was headed for a wheelchair. I had a walker and a cane and disability plates 4 years ago when I started this. I couldn't go up and down stairs. I was extremely sick. Jason and I were like on the same path together, and we didn't even know it. We didn't even know each other, but we were having the similar issues. And I honestly feel like this saved my life, and I think that it did Jason's as well. Those are our words, not somebody else's. So those are our stories, and I want you to know that it can happen for you too. That's the biggest thing right now. So if you haven't tried Unamate yet, this is your sign to try it, because you have two people who have told you, and there's so many more stories that how much it's changed their lives. So let's talk about the balance really quick, because I do have to head out in a little bit to go get this amazing piece of furniture. All right, so let's talk about this. 7 different soluble and insoluble fibers that are in a patented form. So yeah, you're not going to find this blend of fibers in any other fiber out there. And it's important that it has those 7 different fibers, because each one of the fibers is working on something different in your gut health and in your metabolic health. Not every fiber is alike. God, love you too, Jason. We need to catch up. Thanks for dropping in. Since Grammy Gloria says, since Unicity switched to your stevia, your stomach issues have improved significantly. And you know what? Before I head into the fiber part, let's talk about that, Grammy. Because when I started, the packaging looked like this, right? The packaging was like this. So a couple of things they've done, because they listen to us. They take us into account. They changed the packaging so it's easier to pour into a water bottle. So there's not the spillage that we were getting with this. This had some other sweetener in it that people were having issue with. And we all asked the company and asked the company and asked the company, and they went through the time and effort to, even though that sugar was safe, it was causing issues for some. We now use stevia as a sweetener because they listen to you. They're all about metabolic health, and that's the importance of this. This company has employed or done research with some of the top like the makers of the glycemic index. We have studies with them. The Cleveland Clinic, which is one of the top heart health hospitals in the world, we have studies with them. We've employed and consulted with many of the top metabolic scientists in the world, including Ben Bickman. And so it's really science-backed. This is not just some fly-by-night, oh, this is popular. You're going to see a lot of people talking about yerba mate because it's the thing right now that people are talking about in conjunction with insulin resistance. This is the only company I'm aware of that has 18 natural products in the PDR, the prescriber's digital reference, the only one that has employed the scientists that we have to actually prove that it works for your metabolism. So Grammy Gloria, would you tell us your story too while I'm talking about the balance? Because I know people want to know that too. So she was having some gut issues before, and number of people were, but again, they listened, they changed the product. So it's stevia and yerba mate now. A very simple, clean formulation in the tea. And you're not getting that with everyone else. You're not getting the purification processes. So you may be able to go and get other yerba mate teas. You're not going to get the concentration, and you're not going to get the purity. So you're going to get all of the toxins and the PAHs that are present because they don't take that extra step to make sure that it's something that's really clean and good for you. And we do. That's why I'm here talking about it. All right, let's dive into the fiber before I have to go. I said it was 7 different types of fiber, soluble and insoluble. Let's talk about soluble and insoluble and why that's important. It's not just the type of fiber. Every food has a different fiber in it, and every fiber works differently in your gut. So I haven't checked my Facebook. Let me see if there's questions over there, because I might be missing some. How to order. Karen, sorry I didn't see that. I'm going to put that link in here for you right now. You guys, it's so simple to order. It's so simple to use. You always have access to me if you need help. I'm here. And Grammy, I'm glad that you didn't have to stop now. I'm so glad that they made that change and listened to people like you. And that's part of the reason I love this company. So back to the fibers. I'm going to try and stay on track for a second. 7 different soluble and insoluble fibers. Soluble means it will soak up water. Insoluble means it won't. So when you think of insoluble fiber, think of the long strandy fibers in celery and bananas. Okay, think of that. Those fibers create like a basket weave, and they're really good at cleaning out your gut. helping you poop. They can do some blood sugar regulation. But here's the thing, those soluble fibers, I think of them like flubber. They soak up water and they start to expand in your gut. Now you're getting some satiety because your gut is feeling fuller and it stays fuller for longer. And as that fiber moves through the gut, it's encapsulating some of those sugars, working with the tea that's already inhibiting how the sugar digests in your system. So you're getting less of it in the bloodstream. This is the second piece of it. You're getting less of the sugar into the bloodstream as quickly because those soluble fibers help slow down how quickly they hit. Now, why it's important to have soluble and insoluble is that basket weave holds the gel and keeps it all together so that we can have this efficacy in your system. Not only that, but these are considered prebiotics. So you have a plethora of good probiotics in your gut, but most of us are just inundated with the small amount of negative microbiome because the sugar is feeding the negative microbiome. And when we stop this excess sugar and we slow down that and we feed the good microbiome, your gut health starts to change. And we all know, or we should know, I don't know if you guys know this, but that gut health, all of those negative microbiome, autoimmune doctors are now talking about how inflammation is the biggest cause, if not the cause, for autoimmune diseases. Most of the inflammation starts in your gut. So when we clean that up, we start to have better, you start to have less inflammation throughout the system. You have less achy joints, you have better mental clarity, you have less of all of the negative things like this up here. So it really is a multi-factor approach. The tea and the fiber work together to do all of this. And so it's a synergistic effect, you guys. And that's why it's the system. We talk a lot about the tea, and the tea is great, but it's not the only thing. The fiber is super important too. And if you want to know more about those, you can message me. I also have videos on the fiber and whatnot, and I'll do some talks on the fiber later this week. So this component is important. Now, this one, you're going to just mix in water and drink right before you eat or right when you eat. This has shown to decrease a blood sugar spike by up to 40%. That's a huge decrease in blood sugar spike, which means a decrease in insulin spike, which means you start having less of these issues and better health all around. So instead of those medications and the things that are being injected, this is actually building health from the inside out with your own body, helping your body be strong and thrive. And that's the real goal here. So I want to say I've known a number of people who've done those injections for weight loss and whatnot. And because they didn't address the root cause, our imperfect food and not getting in the nutrients we need, when they eventually went off of those injections, they started to gain the weight back. They started to have the same problems because you're not deficient in a medication, you guys. We have it wrong. Our healthcare system is actually a sick care system. And what we want to do is change to looking at our health. Now, before I go today, if there's any other questions, I want to address those. But the big news today is that it's the end of the year. If you're a person who has HSA or FSA, this company that I said listens to us has worked really hard. And now they have an option at checkout where you can use your HSA or FSA to pay for the system. If you have those savings, you know in 2 days, tomorrow night, all of those savings go away and you reset next year. So if you want to use that and start building health, you can now purchase the system with those. Use this time to start. Now, if you're somebody who also is entrepreneurial and wants to build a stream of income that can either be a side stream or a mainstream like I do, but you've always been worried about the cost of starting a business, if you have enough in your HSA or FSA, I can show you how to, because you're purchasing product to start your business. You can start your business and start making a difference in other people's worlds using that leftover HSA or FSA, but you have to do it today or tomorrow. So message me if you're interested in that, because it could change your life and it could change a number of other people's lives. I know you see all kinds of people talking about this system, this protocol. It works. That's why we're talking about it. It's healthy. It's changed my life. I will find some pictures. I found a picture of my neck from a few years ago. I was most looking at the rings around my neck, those dark rings that were there. They're not there anymore. Okay, the system changed that. That's an insulin resistance symptom. We're going to talk more about symptoms later this week. But not only that, I was surprised when I tried to get my face in the same angle to get the picture. I had all this loose hanging skin. I'm 60, I still have some, but this is so much more firm because I've taken care of my gut and my insulin resistance. And my skin looks better at 60 than it did at 56, 57 because I added in nutrients and support to help me be more metabolically healthy. Ladies, our skin, if you're worried about your skin as you age, start taking care of your insulin resistance. Start supporting your gut. Start reducing that sugar in your system. And it doesn't mean you can't have cake or cookies. Look, I'm not a cereal advocate, but sometimes I like it. It's probably my favorite dessert. And so I had some Raisin Bran last night. First time in months, but I woke up, my blood sugars are in order. They're about 98. My blood pressure is in order. I'm not having any of those issues. And my skin is looking healthier than it has in years because I addressed insulin resistance and it was easy. I just do this, a little bit of intermittent fasting, and that's it. All right. I do want to say I'm going to talk about this again. I have some videos out. I'm going to be working on more for my 6 simple tips to reversing or managing your insulin resistance. I'm going to give them to you in short. If you want the full deets on that 6 simple steps, go download my ebook. It's in my profile link. Okay. So the 6 simple steps are this: get fiber in first when you eat. Now, I do it every time I eat, but especially when you have a high carb meal, do this first. It will reduce that blood sugar spike up to 40%, and that's huge. Plus, it's feeding your gut microbiome, all of that. You want this first to help address the foods that you're eating later. 2 of the other steps are when you do eat, focus on protein and healthy fats. Now, what I consider healthy fats, as I've learned from Dr. Bickman, Dr. Fung, Dr. Pradeep, all of these doctors who are metabolic experts and heart health experts, they talk about saturated fats. Oh my God, yes, saturated fats. So that's in the ebook, Which Fats to Eat. They are not the seed oils that you're being told. We can do a talk on that later. So fiber first, prioritize protein. Don't fear those fats like butter, ghee, olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil. Don't fear those. Use them liberally. They also help keep you satiated. Then limit your carbs. Now, if it's not a protein and it's not a fat, it is a carb. That means fruits and vegetables too. Am I telling you you can't have them? No. But those are the carbs you should focus on, especially the darkly colored ones that live above ground. Those are the carbs you should focus on. And try to limit those bagged, boxed, bar-coded foods. They're high in seed oils, they're high in refined sugars, and they're part of the biggest part of the problem. Okay. So those are the first 4 tips. They're all about food. The second 2 tips are going to be to do some intermittent fasting. Slow your roll. You don't need to be putting food in your face every 2 hours. You don't need to be eating as often. We are not built for it. Our human anatomy, we are not built to eat like we are eating today, and that's part of the problem. The second, the last thing, the 6th step is to just move your body. We have gone from a society that was out working and up walking and doing all that to sitting in front of a computer like this all day long, and we're getting sick and we wonder why. We have to use what we have to stay healthy. Um, get the ebook. It's going to go over all of those and explain it in detail. You'll get a list of proteins. You get the list of the oils to use, and you're going to get some more information on the Feel Great system and my story. Just download the ebook. It's free, and it's my gift to you to help you address your insulin resistance, whether you choose to do the system or not. Okay. There are 2 bonus things in there. They're not part of my 6 simple steps, but they're becoming part of it. There's a lot of research now about blue light. I'm wearing blue light blocking glasses right now because there's research that says that blue light, the extended blue light time that we're getting, is contributing to this whole insulin resistance thing. So limit your blue light and then get some good rest. Cortisol raises your insulin. Insulin raises your cortisol. They work like negatively towards each other in the way we're living today. So get some good sleep and help your insulin resistance. Those are 8 tips, not 6, 2 bonus ones. Just get the ebook and it will help you. And I'll be back tomorrow. I'm trying to settle into a new time to do this. I know I've been inconsistent. I moved. I've had a lot of stuff going on, but I want to find a consistent time and start being here to help you guys again. So with that, we'll see you tomorrow and have a great day. Reach out to me if you want more help. If you have more questions about what I talked about today, there is a link to my WhatsApp in that same link in my profile. So reach out. I do answer, and I hope you guys find your path back to health. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.